Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is time to look at the bone forming process or the process of bone formation, alright? Your presenter here, I.D.E Henry, here to take you through the process of bone formation. So, what about the process of bone formation? And let us look at the stages that the bone forming process has. And if so, if you're asked to explain the 3 phases, I am going to guide you through. If you're asked to explain the 2 phases, I'm going to guide you through also. So we're starting with the bone forming process. Without wasting much of your time, don't forget to like and subscribe and share to your friends. Leave a comment in the comment section on what video you want me to do next. Without wasting much of your time, let's quickly dive into it. What are the types of bone forming process or the phases? So we have the proliferative phase, maturation of matrix, and mineralization. Ladies and gentlemen, the proliferation phase. What you can explain here under proliferation phase is that, number 1, the process of bone formation begins with the proliferation of specialized cells called the osteoblasts. I repeat, osteoblasts. So the osteoblasts are responsible for synthesizing and depositing the components of the bone. These cells are responsible for synthesizing and depositing the components of the bone. We proceed. The osteoblasts secrete an organic matrix called an osteoid, which consists of mainly collagen fibers, and this matrix provides a framework for bone formation. That's simple. Thirdly, an osteoblast continues to secrete osteoid. Remember, we said an osteoid is simply a matrix which is formed out of organic matter secreted by osteoblasts. So the osteoblasts continue to secrete osteoid, and it accumulates and forms a soft, pliable mass that will eventually harden into bone. That's it about the proliferation phase. The next phase is the maturation of matrix. What do you explain? You explain as the osteoid matrix is deposited, some of the osteoblasts become trapped within it and differentiate into mature bone cells called osteocytes. So bone cells are called osteocytes. Furthermore, osteocytes are responsible for maintaining the bone tissue and regulating its metabolism. Also, within the matrix, the osteoids or osteocytes extend long, slender projections called dendrites through tiny channels called caniculi or caniculi. So these dendrites allow communication between neighboring osteocytes and facilitate the exchange of nutrients and waste products. Can it be more simple than this? Also, osteocytes secrete substances that help regulate bone remodeling and repair, such as the growth factors and enzymes. With that said, the next phase is the mineralization phase. In this phase, the final step in bone formation is called the mineralization phase of the osteoid matrix, and mineralization involves the deposition of calcium phosphate crystals on the collagen fibers within the matrix. Also, the calcium and phosphate ions are released from the bloodstream and are taken up by the osteoblasts, okay? And then the osteoblasts actively promote the deposition of calcium and phosphate ions into the collagen fibers, which leads to the formation of hydroxyapatite crystals. So the hydroxyapatite crystals, or this crystal, is primarily a mineral component of bone and provides the strength and hardness of bone tissue. Lastly, as the hydroapatites or hydroxyapatite crystals accumulate, they gradually replace the organic components of the osteoid matrix, transforming it into mature bone. Having explained those processes, you can also explain the other types. But before that, let's look at a quick summary of how you can make this whole process easy and short. Alright? How you can make the process easy and short. So to summarize the 3 processes, you can explain the following things. It is composed of 3 phases, alright? Composed of 3 phases. So throughout the bone forming process, the balance between bone formation and reabsorption is crucial for maintaining bone health and remodeling. Osteoblasts, specialized cells responsible for bone resorption, play a significant role in the balance and breakdown by removing old and damaged bone tissue, allowing the other continuous renewal and repair of bone. That can be your conclusion. Having looked at that, ladies and gentlemen, let us quickly proceed to the other processes of bone formation. So they're categorized in two. We've got intramembranous ossification and endochondral ossification. What about intramembranous? So under the intramembranous, you can say this type of bone formation occurs in the flat bones of the skull, the facial bones, and the clavicles. Also, it begins with the condensation of the mesenchymal or the mesenchymal cells, which differentiate into osteoblasts. Alright, the osteoblasts secrete osteoid, an organic matrix primarily composed of collagen fibers. The calcium salts are deposited within the osteoid, leading to a hardening of the matrix. As the matrix mineralizes, osteoblasts become trapped within the lacunae and forming a mature bone cell called an osteocyte. The blood vessels grow in the developing bone, supplying nutrients and oxygen. So the woven bone that forms initially is remodeled into a lamellar bone, which is organized into concentric layers called osteons. Ladies and gentlemen, we go to the endochondral ossification. In this phase, it is a type of bone formation in most bones of the body, including long bones, and it involves the replacement of pre-existing cartilaginous mold or model with bone tissue. And the process begins with the formation of a hyaline cartilage model, which is produced by chondroblasts. Having said that, a primary ossification center develops in the bone called a diaphysis, also known as a shaft of the bone. And then the blood vessels invade cartilage, bringing the osteoblasts and osteocytes to the site. Osteoblasts secrete osteoid around the cartilage, leading to the formation of a bony collar. The cartilage within the diaphysis calcifies and chondrocytes die, creating cavities. Hence, the blood vessels and osteoblasts enter the cavities, initiating the formation of spongy bone. Having said that, a secondary ossification center forms in the epiphyses, also known as the ends of the bone. In there, cartilage continues to grow at an epiphyseal plate, allowing for longitudinal bone growth. Lastly, eventually, the epiphyseal plates ossify and form an epiphyseal line, marking the end of bone growth. Having said that, ladies and gentlemen, how can you summarize it? You can summarize it in the following way. Intramembranous ossification occurs directly from mesenchymal cells, while endochondral ossification involves the replacement of cartilage bone. So the bone processes require the activity of osteoblasts, which secrete osteoid and promote mineralization, as well as the invasion of blood vessels to provide nutrients and oxygen to the bone. Having said that, ladies and gentlemen, having said all those wonderful words, nice points, you can get yourself some good 15 and 20 marks. Alright, so you can pause the video so that you can write these notes down in your own easy way. Otherwise, this marks the end of the bone forming process video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching my video, ladies and gentlemen. See you in the next episode. Until next time, bye bye.